have been debating whether or not I want to share this. And as I'm filming this, I don't even know if I'm actually going to post this. But I've been I don't know, I have this feeling, this pull to say something about it. And I don't know why. So this is me showing up and seeing what happens. We've had a really hard summer. Most of you probably know that we have been trying to have another baby, and I had lost 2 pregnancies. But what you don't know is that right after my last loss, I actually got pregnant again and I had another miscarriage. So I've had 3 losses back to back. The last one was a little like slightly later than the other ones. And I've been really grappling with talking about it. I took an entire month off of social media, and that was so good for me. That was the main reason, though, is because I had lost the baby at the beginning of August, and I just couldn't keep showing up. Like I tried, but it just didn't. I just needed to leave. And I filmed this video before, and I have cried, and I have talked and deleted it. And it's hard for me because I don't want to sit in my grief. A lot of people have asked me, like, have you really given yourself time to grieve, Rainbow? And I feel like I have, but I'm also somebody who doesn't like to sit in the grief. I don't like to sit in the sadness. I process and I like to look forward, and I don't like to wallow in that despair because it's not healthy for me and it's not healthy for my mental state. And I know that about myself. I think there is so much to be said for keeping what you want to manifest at the forefront of your thoughts. And so I don't want to sit here and sit in sadness when I want, abundance to come. But I'm also honoring that I can be both sad and happy sometimes at the same time. At first, I really didn't want to share anything about this, and I wanted to keep it very private because I just couldn't fathom telling everybody that I had lost another baby. Because for me, it's really hard to hear people say, I'm sorry for your loss. And not that I think those people are coming from a bad place or anything. Like, the intention is pure and wonderful. It's just, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with the I'm sorries. Instead of facing that, I have just kind of kept it to myself and tucked that part away and just not shared that. I don't share a lot of my life. Like, it might seem like I share a lot of my life, and I do share a good chunk, but I think sometimes people think they see everything and they just don't. There's a lot of life that happens behind the scenes when people share things online. I also have been really protective of my energy. I am very aware that not everybody who watches me and follows me wants the best for me. I'm very aware that some people watching this video right now do not like me, do not have the best intentions for me, do not wish well on me and my family all the time. So, with something so vulnerable, it felt too risky while I was still so cracked open by it to share. But also, as a birth worker, as somebody who helps women through pregnancy and birth and postpartum, it feels really weird to keep this quiet. And I have no shame about it. But I realize I was experiencing some shame in my grief. It felt hard for me to completely process everything because I wasn't pregnant for very long. You know, when you have an early loss, I don't know if other people experience this, but I sometimes struggled to feel justified in my sadness. I think this is the dangerous thing about the competition, especially that women have with one another. It's so dangerous to be in competition. Who has it harder? Who has it better? Who has it worse? Well, you don't have it as bad. Like, it could be worse, so you shouldn't be so sad. Like, that kind of social acceptance for that kind of behavior, I think, is really dangerous. And I guess maybe the pull of why I've been wanting to share this is I'm struggling this week just lately, I'm struggling to show up in these spaces. Obviously, if you've been watching my videos and everything, you've seen that, I've just been posting and sharing pieces of things that are going on, but it obviously hasn't been the whole picture, and it still won't be. But this has been a huge part of something I've been going through. The biggest part for me is I've been really processing the fear going into each cycle. The fear of, okay, can I treat this like a new pregnancy? Can I treat each time like a new cycle without having that fear sitting in the pit of my stomach every time I take a pregnancy test? That's tough. I don't have answers for anybody. It's just something I've been processing on my own, and it's been a big part of my healing. But I guess the big thing that is bringing me to share this is these losses have completely changed who I am. They have completely changed me. I am not the same as I was at the start of the summer. Especially if you stack on like the kind of traumatic move that we just had to make. Very unexpected, it shook our family. And then these losses, just one on top of the other. How could I be the same after? And it's not a bad thing. It's not like, oh, I'm a shell of who I used to be or anything, but they have changed me. They have grown me and they have shaped me now. I don't know how to keep showing up the way I have been before because I am not the before anymore. And it feels like a good thing. It feels like a more honest thing. It feels like a more raw thing. And I am so grateful to the people in my life who I told and who have supported me and who have encouraged me to like really let myself feel it and let myself be sad for the babies that I have lost, because this has been a really lonely experience. I think that's maybe why the sorries are hard for me to swallow, because they almost make me feel lonelier. And I don't know what that is, but it's out there. I guess I just wanted to share this because this is common. This happens. Women experience loss very frequently. And I don't want to be stuck in this victim mentality of, like, poor me, I have lost these babies, while still honoring the fact that I have lost them. But I just feel like that silence is so isolating. Speaking about the two ones back to back was really tough. And then just having a third, it just felt like, ugh. And I think, I had gotten a couple of DMs, a couple of comments, I think, where people were like, well, you should just stop trying and you should be grateful for the four kids you have. I am so grateful for my children, but that doesn't make my experience of wanting more children any less valid. And I really caution you against saying things like that to people who have experienced loss of any kind. Please do not try and sugarcoat their experience or their loss, because it does not feel nice to be on the receiving end of that. To think that because somebody wants to grow their family that they must not be grateful for what they have, or they must be pushing it too hard. My last two children are miracles. You guys know our story. If you want to know more about our story, go listen to the last podcast that Jana and I just did, where we talk about the vasectomy reversal and the details of that, because it was not a cut and dry situation. We are not pushing anything, but we are welcoming and we are open, and that openness has led to us creating life 3 additional times, but they just didn't stay. Yeah, I've just felt very strange keeping it so quiet, because it felt like a disservice to the women that I serve to not speak on it almost. But I did need to wait until I was ready. So I guess the overall point of this share is that obviously you are not alone if you are experiencing this. If you have experienced back to back losses, you are not alone. Again, this is common. As hard as that is, it is something that a lot of us will walk together. Up until this point, I really hadn't experienced loss. And so this whole thing has humbled me in new ways, and I think it has shaped me, and I think it will make me a better doula, a better woman going forward. But that doesn't mean that it is an easy thing to experience. I just can't sit here anymore and pretend that I can just go on the way I've always gone on and continue the way I was posting or sharing before. I don't know what this looks like, but I just know that I'm not the same and I am changed. And I don't know who this new version of me is quite yet. I know she's full of hope. I know she will be holding her 5th baby. I do know that. I know this version of me is more raw, more honest, much less tolerant of people's BS. But I just can't keep showing up and masquerading as my old self anymore, because I am not her. So Thank you for listening if you've made it this far, and we'll see you around.